all games contain conviction. Conviction, by definition, is an enforcement of knowingness. Enforcement of knowingness is called importance. Importance is the basis of all significance. Essentially, importance is a must. That which is considered important tends to persist and to become more solid. Solidity and persistence need for are thus the basic conviction phenomena in games. Things are made more solid and more persistent to convince others of their existence. The mechanism is entirely reversible. That which is persisting and solid is tended to be regarded as important. Any importance is relative to, and can be evaluated against, any other importance. There is no absolute importance. Thus, what the being considers important is relative to the being and the games he is playing. Thus, any field of knowledge which postulates an absolute importance is at variance with natural law. The search for deeper significance into life or the mind is only the search for prior or greater importance. In that all importance is relative to all other importance, it is both a fruitless and endless search. Various past researchers in this field have claimed to have discovered basic importances of a more or less absolute nature, like sex or survival, etc., and then proceeded to develop a therapy based upon their discovery. We can now see clearly why they failed. The button is importance. Having now found it, we can stop looking for it. The entire secret of making any mental mass vanish is to reevaluate its importance, to present time realities to the point where it is considered so trivial that there is no longer any need to keep it in existence, at which moment the mass can be easily not known and will promptly vanish. While the mass is considered important, it will continue in existence, and the being will continue to know it even though trying desperately to not know it. To try and vanish by means of force a mass while still holding the consideration that it is important is thus the height of stupidity, and can only lead to frustration and failure. Thus we see that the re-evaluation of past importances is the only step required to achieve the vanishment of any mental mass. As a successful psychotherapy can be defined as a system that brings about the vanishment of unwanted mental conditions, we see that this data is vital to our goal. The ability to assign and unassign importances, while native to the being, will be found to require some attention on the route out. The assignment of the consideration of unimportance to a mental mass after having considered the mass important is merely an attempt to devalue it, and is just another method of attempting to vanish it by means of force. Hence, we have no need to consider the subject of unimportance. Once one grasps that the need to regard a thing as unimportant is an importance in its own right, one has entirely got the flavor of all this. The button is importance, the unimportance comes out in the wash.